Saying yes to God. That's what I want to talk to you about today. In the book of Exodus, God is speaking through the burning bush to Moses, and he's sending him to Egypt. And I want to pick up at Exodus chapter 3, verse 10 and 11. Therefore go, I am sending you to Pharaoh so that you may lead my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses asked God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the Israelites out of Egypt? You see, Moses is trying to convince God that he made a mistake. And he spends the next 29 verses of the Bible, 29 verses that should make all Christians stop and think about their life. He spends 29 verses arguing with God, trying to convince him to choose someone else. It's weird when a person, a human being, tries to educate God about who they think they are. This is the God who made Moses. He also made Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob before he appeared to them. And he made the entire universe. He simply said, let there be light, and there was light. He told the mountains, this is how high you shall be, and the mountains obeyed. He told the oceans how far they could come onto dry land, and they complied. And then God speaks to Moses, and he says no. I love the way that the Bible doesn't idealize its heroes. It doesn't present Moses as this pious church leader that God chooses because he has everything together. No, when God chooses Moses, he's afraid. The mere prospect of going to Egypt terrifies him. And at one point, the Lord turns his staff into a snake, and Moses runs away because he's afraid. The point is that the Lord doesn't work despite our weaknesses and our frailties. He works through them. And it reminds me of what Paul wrote to the Philippians in chapter 1, verse 6. This is Philippians 1:6. That he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. So we can be thankful. I'm sure Moses was thankful that he saw later in his life that the Lord was leading him to Egypt and that he was working to overcome all of the doubts in his fears so that not only the Israelites would be set free, but Moses would be set free. And I believe that we all have seasons where we have our own 29 verses, where we realize we should have just said yes to the Lord in the first place. But it took some time. And I think that there are two things that we need to remember with this, that we should always say yes to God in Exodus chapter 3, verse 11. As soon as the Lord asks us, we should just say yes. But sometimes it takes until Exodus chapter 4, verse 18, where Moses finally went to tell his father-in-law that he was leaving. Sometimes it just takes us some time. And without accepting the fact that it took us that long, like without saying that that is acceptable, we should realize that sometimes that's just the nature of what it means to be a follower of Christ, is that we find things hard and it takes us time. So if the Lord is calling you to Egypt, I want to encourage you to go. Because the reason he's calling you is because in his infinite wisdom, he knows that you are the right person for whatever it is he's calling you to go, whatever he's calling you to do. Not because he believes that you can do it in and of yourself, but because he's going to come with you.